Saint Bartholomew, otherwise known as Saint Nathaniel, apparently evangelized Arabia and then was martyred, being flayed alive. One of the apostles, and we reflect on the dignity of the apostles, the importance of the apostles who were the pillars of the church, and Jesus Christ being the cornerstone, the strength of the church. The Catholic Church is Jesus Christ, and he's not just 2,000 years ago building it, but he's firmly here today in the Eucharist, continuing to maintain and sustain the church by himself. No, not only by himself, but by the apostles. And we have apostles today, and they are the bishops, as St. Paul says in Corinthians, are all prophets, are all apostles, are all teachers. And so it obviously implies that the apostles are to continue, succeed the original apostles, the original 12. So we still have the strength of the church, which has withstood so many crises through the centuries, through the 2,000 years of the church. And of course we think of the crisis today of the abuses of the priests in the church, and is the church going to survive? Are people going to go, people not going to church anymore because of the scandals of the priests of the past? And when the scandals happened in Boston, and things were cleaned up and straightened out in a big way, very soon after that, enormous amounts of vocations came to the Boston diocese. I remember seeing a poster back, 15, 20 years ago, of all the candidates for the priesthood there. And it was just it was a large poster and a picture of all the candidates. It seemed like 100 of them. This is after the scandals, and you would think, the scandals are going to rock the church and the church is going to be destroyed. Of course, the communists, it seems like they did destroy it in Russia and China, but the church is always going to revive, always going to come out of the ashes, always going to be strong because of Jesus. But we look at our own local communities too, and we always look for strength. We all need to be built up and strengthened. Sometimes there are, we're alone. We're alone. Around us are maybe non-Catholics, or we're in a home where certain saints have grown up and everybody's an atheist around them. I think of Elizabeth Lesueur. I don't know if you heard of her, but she's a holy woman who lived in the 1900s. Her husband was an atheist, and everyone around her, all her friends were atheists, and she was alone. And she maintained her faith strong and grew in holiness, and eventually, after she died, her husband became a priest and a Dominican. Anyway, so, our strength comes from God. Our strength comes from Jesus. It doesn't come from ourselves, our own force of will, our own willpower. It doesn't come from pride. It comes from humility. It comes from charity. It comes from faithfulness to God. And we need to keep building up our communities, building up our families, all those around us. And how do we do that? By being holy ourselves. Being holy ourselves, being humble ourselves, trusting totally in God, realizing the effect that we have on other people. Others depend on us. The church depends on us. So we have to be strong. And the only way to be strong is to trust in God totally. God will make us holy. And it's holiness that builds up the local communities and the larger communities, and builds up the church. And God is looking for this. He's looking for faithful souls who will live a holy life, built on prayer, built on humility, charity, following the example of the apostles and Bartholomew today.
Jésus.